You got to understand you're a wild girl. You got to understand you're in the moment. You got to understand she's a wild girl. You got to understand she's in the moment. I know she's beautiful, but she's a wild girl. You got to understand the speed she's going in. You got to know how she feels. She's a wild gal, and she's teasing me so much. You got to understand she's a wild gal. She's a wild gal. You got to understand this moment. You gotta take it in. She's a wild one, and she gets it going on the dance floor. 'Cause she's a girl, she's so wild. She's a wild one. She's so fine, she blows my mind. But she's a wild gal. She's got the sex appeal you want. But she's a wild gal. You take a moment to take it in. If you understood this gal, she's a wild gal. You got to understand this moment. You got to understand she's in the moment, and she's a wild gal. You gotta take it in and understand this gal, 'cause she's a wild one, so wild she cannot tame her. She's a wild gal, and she's got it in the moment, so you understand this moment. She's a wild gal. She moves it on the dance floor how you want it, but you got to understand this is a wild gal, and she's blasting this beat into your sound of your ears like a drum. But she's a wild gal, so you gotta take this in. You got to understand this is a wild gal, and you got to understand the moment and where she's coming from, and the moment you're in the dance floor, and this is a wild gal, and she get her the speakers blasting because she's a wild thing, and she's so beautiful, and you wanna take it in, 'cause she gets it pumping like your blood pumping through your veins. This girl is a wild gal. You got to understand. You can't put a ring around her finger, 'cause she's a wild gal. She gets the floor jumping. She gets the mood going, because she's a wild gal. And you cannot tame this thing. She's so beautiful. I'm falling in love. But you got to understand, she's a wild gal. This wild gal will get you on the dance floor, get you moving, because she knows her things. She's got experience, and she's a wild gal. So take a moment to take it in, 'cause you got to understand, she's a wild gal, and she's beautiful what she does. And you got to understand this flow of hers, how she moves it, 'cause it's so nice to the mind. You get your spirit on the dance floor, because you want to be with this wild gal. She knows her place, and the place she's is, it's in a party, blowing the roof off, because she's a wild gal, and she cannot be tamed by anybody, because she knows what she's doing. It's so fun and nice. She got to understand this wild gal is here on the dance floor for now. But if you understand the move, it's to get the party pumping. Boom to the bass.